about it now.
Alright, so I press live, by the way.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Alright, stream health. Green, we are live, 13 seconds in. No one's watching.
We is live. We is live. Oh, sorry. We're actually live.
We're actually live.
Okay, everybody pretend like that didn't happen. So, welcome to Recycle Bin, everybody. This is episode number 14.
Yeah, episode 14. So.
And Bear has some big news.
Yes. I'm pregnant, and I am 6 months. Oh, no, not that?
No.
No.
What's going on there, buddy?
I don't know. 128 subs.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
I think you're actually above that now, aren't you?
I am. I went up to 131, and then I went right back down to 130. So, it's okay.
Well, you know what that is? That's some dirtbag who signed up for the giveaway, subbed, and then immediately unsubbed. I'm guessing that's what that is.
So, I will see. I don't know how Jay does it, but I'm going to double check and make sure that those who are, the winner is still subbed, right? So that's what I'll do.
Yeah, so the only thing with that is if you're, I don't know how he does that either, because if you're looking at your, your subscribers in the Creator Studio,
right,
it'll only show you people who allow their subs to be shared
publicly.
So, like, I know, right. So if you have that privacy option checked, then you can be subbed and not show up in someone's list. So yeah, I'm not sure how he handles that.
Yeah, nor am I. So.
So yeah, and as a side note on that, thanks to Bear, since it looks like he added me as an add-on entry on his giveaway, I've now bumped up to 153. So I finally broke the 150 barrier. So
nice.
That's exciting. My camera may just shook a little bit. Sorry, I had my arms on the desk. But yeah, so super excited about that. Also, over 23,000 views on the channel now, which is pretty decent. Yeah, so it's been a good week.
Good. Sorry, I'm sitting here going over our list of what we're going to talk about on stream, and I'm like, oh man, we have a lot of stuff here. How are we ever going to have time for all of this? And then it clicked in my head. Oh shoot, I never made the PCPartPicker build.
Well, I mean, we could shuffle things around a little bit. We could jump into the news first, and then that'll give you some time to, while we're doing that, kind of piece something together on another tab. Do you have drag over some second monitor or something and work on it while we're doing that, or?
I got no second monitor. So we'll just see what sort of magic I can work. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's just get right into it then, shall we?
Yeah.
Alright, let me pull up. Really? New ransomware has been going around?
Yeah, so as of this past Tuesday, there was a new ransomware outbreak. So it's similar to the WannaCry. I guess loosely based off of that. So WannaCry used the... drag this over here. WannaCry was using a NSA leaked exploit called Eternal Blue. My webcam just turned off again.
Yes, it did.
Thanks, Skype. Wow, it's just completely gone.
It is.
Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what's going on, but my webcam refuses to work. I think it has more to do with Skype than anything else. But anyways, based off Eternal Blue, WannaCry was based off Eternal Blue, which was an NSA exploit used to hack into Windows machines to backdoor into them, basically. But now there is a new related exploit that they're using called Eternal Romance. So this new CryptoLocker virus, or ransomware virus as it may be, is dubbed PetaRap. I don't remember... I kind of skimmed through it for the details, and I don't remember what the reasoning was that they called it that. But anyways, so it seems to be effective even against Windows 10 machines that are fully patched, which is concerning because that's been... Oh, Sorry, because that's been kind of the thing that was kind of the deal breaker with WannaCry, was if you had a fully patched Windows 10, you couldn't be exploited with the WannaCry virus. But however, this one has been able to get into fully updated Windows 10 machines. So it seems like there's kind of two things going on here. That once it gets on the machine, it can actually also do a secondary task of trolling your network, and I mean not trolling, but basically scanning your network and actually being able to extract passwords for admin accounts on other computers, and presumably using that to actually propagate itself through the network. So it actually does this using PSExec, which is a built-in Windows management tool,
Right.
to actually push itself out across the network. So that's actually pretty crazy. They suspect that the outbreak started in the Ukraine with a tax accounting package called MEDOC, and essentially they think that their server either was compromised or possibly they originated it from their server. Maybe someone internally did, but essentially their server was infected with the PetaRap virus, and then through client updates to people running the MEDOC software is how it actually was initially distributed. Alright, I'm just going to give up on my video feed at this point because...
I was gonna say your camera there, or Skype or whatever it is, and I even tried killing off my my video feed to you in hopes that that would, you know.
Yeah, I think it's so I'm gonna try and plug into I'm plugging into a front panel USB right now, and that may be the issue. I may, because on this case the front panel USBs are they're upright at a 90-degree angle, so I think it may just have had too much stress on it at some point, and that may be why this USB port's failing. Okay, so I'm going to try one more time for video, and if we lose it again, then I'm going to give up for the stream.
Okay.
But hopefully now we're fixed. And then if you could go ahead and turn your camera back on. And
oh, to you? Yeah.
Yeah, because I think...
Well, you're still being shown, by the way, via stream.
Okay, and then I'm coming through on your side now?
Yeah.
Okay, because Skype is being stupid and still saying that it can't send my video, so...
Nah, I see you. You're being shown live, and it is zoomed out, though.
Oh, it's zoomed out?
It's zoomed out.
Alright, here, I'll adjust that real quick. But yeah, so essentially, the strange thing about this, kind of the final note on this topic while I adjust my video, the strange thing that they note in the... Oh, by the way, this was a Ars Technica article. I'm sorry, I completely forgot. Let's give credit to Ars Technica and Dan Gooden that actually posted this article. And the thing that he notes at the end of this is that it's kind of strange in that it doesn't seem to be... targeting actually making money. It almost seems like more like it was targeted at destruction with the way they set it up. There was no command and control. Sorry, Skype's not letting me get to my video settings now. There was no like command and control server set up. It was set up to send all the payments to... Oh, it really... Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, I can't seem to get to my video settings. I shut it off and cut it back on.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, yeah, I can't get to any video settings at all. So I'm just gonna have to deal with it. So, anyways, the way it's set up is basically not very effective at getting payment. And I believe there's an email account or something that I saw that was set up to kind of propagate all this for the payment mechanism, and it's been shut down. So there's no way to actually for it to process that it has received a Bitcoin payment to the address. And there's no way for it to actually do any of the, not that they would even care about this part, but to do any of the actual unlocking. Then one note in here does say that by early Tuesday afternoon, and remember this started I think sometime Tuesday morning, California time, the hour had received 24 Bitcoin payments, which totaled about $3,000. So, or $6,000, sorry. Totaled about $6,000. But again, they were saying that the way that this was set up, it almost seems like more like they didn't care as much about getting the payments as much as just causing
Mayhem.
chaos. Yeah, causing chaos and destruction. So, yeah. So we start off on a bright, sunshiny topic. So just make sure that you're careful what you click on out there, guys.
Yeah. And I cropped you. You look
okay,
good.
cool. Thank you. I always look good. Anyway, so on to the next topic. Yeah, definitely on to the next topic. So our next topic is from PC Gamer by Christopher Livingston and Open4. I actually found this on my own before I saw the article because Open4 updated. So an update was pushed out for Open4, and its build went from 2.9.0 build 906 to 2.9.0 build 907, which basically says they're back in business. If you look at the Open4 site, open4.com, they are still posting the takedown notice message, but the download is active again, so you can actually download and install the software.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder how they're doing that.
Well, I saw somewhere where, and it's mentioned in this article, where Rockstar had made a statement about the situation, basically saying that they talked to Take-Two, who is their parent company.
Okay.
And basically the issue is multiplayer mods, as everyone speculated in the beginning. They don't mind. They don't care. It doesn't bother them that single-player mods happen. Their concern is the multiplayer aspect, and so this was done in an attempt for them to ensure that their multiplayer experience was untainted. So it seems like, and again, in this article, PC Gamer mentions that Chris Livingston mentions that they were contacted by Rockstar when they asked for a statement, and they were told that they're actually talking to the lead developer of Open4. So it sounds like they've got the doors opened again, that they've released a cease and desist on them. So this is likely greatly in part to the user outcry that happened. I'm sure everybody's by now seen the stories about, or seen on Steam, the user reviews, overnight went overwhelmingly negative.
Overwhelmingly negative.
Yeah. And I mean, very, very quickly. So it's pretty ridiculous.
Which shows you just how controlled the gaming world is by the gamers, by the consumers.
Right.
Remember Infinity Warfare? They went, we hear you guys are wanting World War II, World War I era, but you're going to space, and that got them real negative reviews too.
Yeah. So we can probably expect out of this to see that Rockstar is probably going to work with the developers of Open4 to implement some sort of patching to GTA 5, or maybe patching to the Open4 software, and maybe that's part of what this update was, to ensure that nothing can step the bounds into the multiplayer universe, that everything stays contained to the single player aspects of the game. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that. As far as I know, I don't have a ton of experience with Open4. I've only used it a couple of times. I don't know that there was really, at least for GTA 5, any multiplayer mods. I believe in GTA 4, so there was a LCPD FR, which FR stood for First Response, mod that you could do, which was actually a ton of fun. I played a ton of it on GTA 4, where you could actually play as an LCPD officer.
Oh, yeah.
Such an amazing mod, like one of the best mods I've ever played. It was a little buggy. It had a tendency to crash, like you'd be in for like an hour or 2 hours into a session and it may crash on you, but it was pretty easy to get up and running again and kind of get back into the swing of things. It was an amazing mod. And I believe I remember seeing some YouTube videos of people playing that mod on multiplayer with other people. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. But I don't think GTA 4 had the monetization on it like GTA 5 does, where they, and now in GTA 5 you have to buy these shark cards to get in-game cash to
right.
Be able to own all the best things, I guess. Yeah, so just a bright light there that, for once, going and kind of a mass of people expressing their opinion on something,
And
incited nearly immediate change.
yeah,
Because it was just last week when we first reported that Open4 had been taken down,
it was.
and now a week later, it's back up. So it's good to see. It's very heartening to see that. So
Yeah, but it's nice to see a quick response.
Yeah.
To their consumers.
Right.
So
Exactly. So now on some hardware news. Got a couple of topics here. First one's from PC World by Brad Chacos, with a great beard and a great last name. AMD quietly reveals Ryzen 3 chip details with Ryzen Pro's launch. When was this posted? Today, I think, right? Yeah, so today, AMD stepped out of the mainstream and into the business world with Ryzen Pro chips. So Ryzen Pro is basically loaded with some enterprise-friendly features. I would assume that would be similar to like Intel's vPro features that you can get on certain Intel CPUs. That essentially, like vPro with Intel, will allow you some BIOS level access to a machine while it's running as an administrator of a system. So you can kind of remotely touch a machine, and if you need to make some changes to it, you can actually remotely mount the hard drive, virtually mount the hard drive from a remote PC. So things like that are pretty helpful for troubleshooting and repairing things for users. But kind of the key point here is that if you scroll down towards the bottom, there's a image or a slide that's titled Quick Reference Guide, and it gives you the full Pro lineup, which you can see they pretty well line up with the current consumer releases we have. 1800X and 1600X, as well as 1400, are all missing from this lineup. But I guess kind of for basically most of the XQs except for 1700X are missing. Which for reasons you can probably guess, because enterprise chips aren't really going to be overclocked, so the XQs are a little superfluous, since they're supposed to be the better at overclocking chips. So you'll see at the bottom of the stack here we have two Ryzen 3 1300 and 1200 SKUs listed. 4-core, 4-thread. On the 1300, 3.5 base, 3.7 boost, and then 3.1 base, 3.4 boost on the 1200. And we know that overclocking is going to be enabled, so when we see the consumer parts come out, we can probably expect the same performance numbers here, and then we'll be able to do overclocking. I would guess 4 gigahertz would probably be possible in the 1300, and maybe 1200, you may be a little more hard-pressed to hit 4 gigahertz, similar to how we've seen the rest of the lineup fall, where the upper echelon of each tier is usually good for about 4 to 4.1 if you're lucky, and then the lower tier chips usually cap out at 3.8 to 3.9. So just kind of a quick and easy topic there, but definitely I think some interesting information.
Sorry, I'm like going through mice right now.
Yeah. No, I understand. I was trying to remember. I don't think I have anything linked with any of the. We had the different little pricing leaks that have happened over time for the Ryzen 3 lineup, and I believe there was a slide, an official AMD slide that listed pricing at one point, but I could be mistaken on that. But I want to say, to top tier of Ryzen 3, I think we were looking at like 140 for the top tier. So, probably for a lower or the mid-range Ryzen 3, looking at $120 for essentially an i5 equivalent. It's definitely going to be another good value add, especially once we start seeing if any of the Raven Ridge chips with the APUs. I'm curious to see how they're going to line up, because Ryzen 3, I think the lowest end on that's still supposed to be around $100 on the lower end of that. So you still don't get into like super budget chips like the the Pentiums with Intel, where you can get a $70-$80 Pentium that can still be pretty decent for a low-end gaming machine.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just curious to see what happens on the APU side of things with Raven Ridge, with AMD.
Gotcha.
All right. But definitely, whenever Raven Ridge comes out, we're gonna definitely have a PCPartPicker challenge on that guy. Probably do like a super budget. And the next two topics are pretty well tied in together. So our next one's from videocards.com, and I don't believe there's an author
Where'd it go?
listed there.
There it is.
It's a pretty quick little blurb. Essentially, the first, we reported last week that NVIDIA was going to be coming out with some, or their board partners at least, are going to be coming out with some cryptocurrency mining based or geared cards that are going to have no video outputs and be more geared towards cryptocurrency mining. And one of those was a GTX 1060 that was going to come out. So we have the first one spotted in the wild. YouTuber, I forget what his channel name is now. I knew it right before the stream, and now I don't see it anywhere. Seriously.
It is CryptoMind.
Thank you, CryptoMind. CryptoMind has posted a video where he's gotten his hand on the P106-100.
He's doing unboxing.
Something I noticed that was interesting was that they took the G off of these, so they're not GP106. I guess to indicate that they're not GeForce cards, that they're just going to be compute cards, which is accurate. Essentially, he took it out of the box, hooked it up, and started mining with it to test it out. And remember, I mentioned last week that I thought the 1060 had no numbers on it, so I thought that was kind of odd, and I was a little concerned about what the performance would be since they were boasting about the performance on the 1080 model that's going to come out, but there was no mention of the 1060. Well, it looks like on the 1060, we're looking at basically the exact same performance as a normal 1060 that you'll buy off the shelf today.
Okay.
So no performance boost. But the thing to note is that they do have, they're going to be cheaper because they've stripped out the video outputs, so they don't have to pay the licensing fee for HDMI, stuff like that. So that helps reduce cost. And on some of these cards, I know Asus has listed some specs on it and things that they've done to beef it up. They're going to beef up the power delivery and the cooling on it to ensure stable 24/7 operation. The other thing that's going to help make these cheaper is they're going to have basically no warranty. I think the numbers I saw were about 3-month warranties on all these cards.
Wow.
So yeah, they're not going to. These aren't. My guess is that these aren't. Obviously, these aren't enterprise grade parts, so they're not things that are really meant to be run 24/7, because your GeForce card is not meant to run 24/7 at full tilt. So they're doing a little bit to beef the power delivery up on these. I think part of the beefing up power delivery maybe that these are going to be like B stock chips. They're going to be the thing, the GPUs that didn't quite cut it for the retail cards that they want to ship out. So these are all going to be kind of the throwaway chips that still technically function but don't quite meet all the QC requirements for retail shipping.
Makes sense.
So, and that would be why you're seeing basically the same performance as on a standard GeForce card, even with a beefed up power delivery. And the thing with this too is the other thing to kind of consider here is that we're also talking about Ethereum mining, and Ethereum mining is very memory dependent. It's not necessarily dependent on the GPU core performance as much as the memory. So like on my 1070, I can underclock the core by 400 megahertz, the most it'll let you underclock, turn power all the way down to 60%, and overclock the memory by 500 megahertz, and perform exactly the same as if I turn power all the way up and overclock 200 megahertz on the core. So CPU core or GPU core doesn't really affect Ethereum mining at all, honestly. So the next one is, I'm sorry guys, a Tweaktown article. So ads everywhere. Sapphire has announced that they're going to jump into the cryptocurrency game on the AMD side, and I believe Asus is going to be on the AMD side with this as well. But there's going to be several different Sapphire cards coming out that are all going to be mining edition RX cards. So they're going to have couple of different 470 models and a 560. So there's actually differences in pricing between the 470 with Samsung memory and the 470s with the there's two other brands. There's Samsung. I think sometimes you get Hynix. I don't know if Sapphire. I don't know if AMD's still using SK Hynix as a supplier for their memory. I know they were in the past. But SK Hynix and Alpedia or something like that, I forget, are the other two suppliers. Generally, the Samsung is the preferred. And you may wonder why there's not any 480s listed here. My guess would be that again, because it's memory dependent, when you look at the 470s and 480s, if you do a little bit of searching on mining Ethereum with those cards, there's actually a Polaris BIOS editing tool out there, so where you can actually go in and modify the BIOS of the 470 so that you can change the timing on the memory, which will essentially boost the performance of the 470 to the same performance you would get out of a 480. So it kind of doesn't make sense for them to produce 480s for this whenever the 470s can. I'm assuming that they're going to write the BIOS from the factory to run at the correct timings, or the optimized timings for Ethereum. But if you look at the prices here, they're still pretty inflated. I mean, you're looking at a $385 470 for 8 gig card at the top end. At the low end, a 4 gig card for $319. That's still very pricey. So I don't know if that's still inflated somewhat due to the current market. They kind of seem to be taking the opposite approach that NVIDIA is, where NVIDIA is planning on offering the mining cards at a lower price than their GeForce cards, to kind of incentivize miners to buy those over the normal cards with outputs, video outputs on them. So maybe as prices come down on Radeon cards in general, these will come down as well. I'm really hoping they don't try and sell these for more than the standard RX cards, because again, you're going to drive miners to continue to buy RX cards, and then people who are trying to build gaming PCs are going to have no stock to pick from. So, yeah. So again, RX 470 cards, they're saying you should be able to get about 28 mega hashes per second with the Samsung GDDR5. I've seen reports of 470s with or actually, I'm sorry, 570s. So maybe that's the difference. Maybe the 570s are a little better at it, but the 570s I've seen reported with the BIOS hack or the BIOS modification installed, actually be able to push closer to like 30 mega hash on the upper end. So there may be some room for improvement, and maybe a little bit of overclocking through like MSI Afterburner or something like that on the memory. There may still be some headroom for overclocking there as well.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I mean, that's basically it for that topic. Like I said, those two were kind of tied together a little bit. And our last hardware topic for the day is from Extreme Tech by Joel Ruska, and another great last name. So, major hyperthreading flaw destabilizes Intel Kaby Lake and Skylake CPUs. I mean, I guess major flaw, it's kind of a matter of perspective. So, essentially, just kind of a quick and dirty version of this. I'm not going to get too in-depth in technical details because I don't necessarily understand them as well as I probably should to be able to really give a good explanation. But essentially, there was an 8-bit instruction set. This was actually reported by under Debian Linux, and basically there was an error reported on the 8-bit instruction sets that could either cause the machine to hang or even corrupt data. If it doesn't hang, it would still corrupt data in whatever process it was running. And essentially, it only happens if this certain 8-bit instruction set is run on 2 threads operating on the same core. So it would be pretty difficult to reproduce this. You're probably not going to run into this issue on very many PCs out in the wild. There's going to be very specific applications, very specific use cases that you'll be performing that would actually cause an issue like this. That being said, if the issue does happen, it can have some pretty major effects on whatever you're doing. So it's not that big an issue, though, because Intel's already made a statement and said that they do have a micro update already in place, microcode update already in place to fix this error. It's just reliant now on the motherboard manufacturers to have the UEFI update available and then the user to install it. So if you're running any Kaby Lake or Skylake chips, I would recommend going ahead and, or at least anything with hyperthreading enabled, so most of the chips are available out there. Go ahead and make sure you check your motherboard manufacturer's website and get up to the latest UEFI or BIOS update for your motherboard, just to make sure you don't run into any issues. But if you have any issues with strange system hangs under very specific workloads, that could be something to do with this, although it's probably not likely. That's all I got for that one. So we're trucking right along, 9:30. We've got 2 topics left. Just a couple of quick gaming topics here. I guess the Open 4 was kind of a gaming topic, but I decided that was more news due to the other aspects of that.
Yeah.
So in the gaming world, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds has a new patch that's going to let you move while looting and adds destructible cabins. So this is PC Gamer and Christopher Livingston again, as well as Ian Lottie, double teamed on this article. So there's a lot of patch notes here. Obviously, we're not going to go through each individual patch note. Bear hopefully will go ahead and throw all these links in the description of the stream so you can check them out later. I have not had chat open at all because I'm a total slacker and completely forgot to go in and open chat. So I can see what's going on.
No one said anything. There's no one. No one has been here the entire stream.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that I'm all good and depressed.
Hey, it's on my channel.
Well, it says 2 watching, so.
Me and you.
And I wasn't in it before.
Oh.
I just got in. So normally I try and make sure I post the article links. I'll go ahead and make sure this one's in the chat. So if you want to look through the specifics,
it says
it's there
2,
for you.
But it just got done hitting 2 like 10 seconds ago. It read.
Yeah, mine says 3 now. So we got somebody. A silent somebody.
Silent someone.
Yeah. Okay. So anyways, back on topic here. So PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is getting its 3rd major patch. Again, picking up items while moving. So I guess essentially before you had to come to a complete stop to pick up an item, no longer will the interaction animation force you to stop. It'll just make you walk slowly while you're picking the item up. So you'll still be able to keep on the move. Vehicles will face random directions at spawn.
Oh, good.
You can now pull out pistols faster, or at least once the patch comes out anyways. I don't know if it's actually out yet. I think it was just announced. Red dot sight now available to pistols except for revolvers. And again, added destructible cabins, as mentioned before. A bunch of server and client performance improvements, a couple of new pistols, a bunch of gameplay changes, some world changes, and looks like a bunch of item vehicles UI and bug fixes.
Yep.
Pretty major patch. I mean, there's a lot of changes listed here. Again, don't want to get too in depth into all of them. PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds is a game I have not gotten into yet. Definitely looks very interesting and super interested in getting in on it. But I'm just a poor broke person with no monies. So
there's one thing I really want to point out here, and that is the Groza, which is an assault rifle. It is another gun that is going to take 7.62 millimeter ammo. So thank you. There are not enough 7.62 weapons out there, and I feel like all the time that I have 2 assault rifles, they're always 5.56. So, which always eats away at your 5.56, reserves, and everyone else, if you're squatted up, also has 5.56 ammo needing weapons. So you're pretty limited on the ammo there. So
yeah. Yep. So that's about all there is to say on that one. Like I said, I don't have a ton of experience with the game. Luckily, Bear does. And our last topic here is from Nintendo. This is, well, it's not from Nintendo, but it's from Geek.com by Tony Polanco. Nintendo says audience for 4K gaming is too limited. So they're kind of addressing here the Switch and the fact that it's a 1080p console, whereas Sony and Microsoft have 4K consoles that they're working on. And basically, this is an article written on Geek.com based off an interview that Nintendo did with The Verge. So I guess the president of Nintendo of America, Reggie Fils-Aime, stated that the appeal of 4K is too limited. I guess speaking to from their perspective as far as putting it out in the wild. And their point is basically that 4K gaming is kind of out of reach as far as an affordable option for most users, because even if you buy a $500 4K console, you still got the cost of a 4K TV, because most people don't have a 4K TV right now, so you would have to upgrade, whereas most people do have a 1080p TV today that you can play off of. And also the fact that this allows them to keep their console at a more reasonable price. They were able to hit a $300 price point. If you can find it in stock anywhere, it's generally not that much. I haven't been able to find it in stock in any retailers at all lately. And anytime you do find it, it's usually by some fly-by-night third-party retailer or on eBay for $100 to $200 over retail MSRP. So there's that. But they can point out a statistic here is that there are studies that suggest that 4K penetration will only hit 35% by 2019. So even 2 years from now, you're still looking at a third of the market that'll have a 4K TV available, and that's not all of them are going to be console buyers.
Yeah.
So there's not a real reason for them to be pushing 4K other than to have bragging rights.
Yeah.
Which kind of feels like the only reason that Sony and Xbox are doing it, because when you look at it, they try and tout 4K and even say true 4K when we know better. Right. It's not true 4K. They're using checkerboard rendering to achieve 4K in most cases.
Thank you, Tony Polanco, for that. For that article, for writing that.
Yeah, so that's our last topic.
Cool.
I could have added some more topics, but I've been trying to lighten up on the topics a little bit, try and give us, make it easier for us to get out, to get done with the stream on time.
Right.
So hopefully by now you've been able to get your part picker list together.
Yeah, for whatever reason, it won't let me paste.
So real quick, I'll do the introduction for the segment. So PCPartPicker Challenge was introduced or recommended by one of Bear's followers, Dr. Zipucci.
Yeah.
And so basically what we do is each week we come up with a challenge for ourselves to build a system within a certain budget, and usually with some sort of theme to it. And the basic rules are the parts must be compatible, the parts must have a price and availability in PCPartPicker, and the total price cannot include the mail-in rebate. The audience will vote on which build they like the best each week, and basically what we do is we put the poll out and wait a week to announce the winner. So we announce the winner on the following stream.
Mm-hmm.
That way you guys have time, and people who can't catch the show live have time to see it and vote on their favorite PC.
Right.
So we'll start off by talking about last week's challenge. It was a $1,200 AMD build. Basically, for $1,200, build the best PC you can using an AMD CPU and GPU.
Yeah.
So I think last week on the previous weeks, only I had voted in the poll. So this week I did not vote in the poll on purpose. I don't know if you voted or not. So let's see if we got any votes in the poll this time, because I was the only vote in the poll last week.
One vote again for you.
Oh, all right.
I hope that's Dr. Zipucci, at least,
Yeah, I think it was, because we kind of called him out in the last stream, and he told us he was gonna get on it. So.
That's right.
Yep.
Woo!
So the challenge for this week was to do a $2,500 NVIDIA G-Sync build. So a full PC build plus a G-Sync monitor, a keyboard and mouse, and a headset/mic.
Right. So.
All right. So Bear, do you want to take it away?
Yeah. So we got your system up right now, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, I can go through mine real quick. So I decided to go ahead and do a Ryzen build on this. Just again, I think for CPU, performance per dollar is still in the favor of Ryzen, especially if you're going to be doing over 1080p gaming. You may lose some frames in 1080p gaming with higher power GPUs. Once you step it up to 1440 and 4K, it's not really a concern anymore. So I went with the Ryzen 7 1700. I still think that's the best bang for the buck processor in the Ryzen lineup. I'm using a Deepcool Captain 240EX white 240 millimeter liquid cooler AIO. So I kind of went with a silver and white. I was trying to do mostly silver and black. So some stuff's kind of more white than silver, but anywho's. MSI X370X Power Gaming Titanium motherboard. I believe the single most expensive AM4 motherboard that there is right now. But it is a very good looking board. I did 4x8 gigs, so 32 gigs total of Trident Z, DDR4 3200 memory, SK Hynix, 500 gig solid state drive, and a 2 terabyte Seagate mechanical for mass storage. Want to make sure we had a ton of storage in this system. GTX 1080 hybrid, so from EVGA. The Thermaltake View 27. So we can take a moment to look through a couple of these pictures here, because actually for the price, I think this is a very nice case.
Wow, that looks really cool.
So there is I believe, a white version of this. It still doesn't show up in PCPartPicker.
Right.
But there's also other versions of it where you get the Thermaltake ring fans with it, and so you get nice LED circles on the front that actually look really nice. This one doesn't seem to come with it. I believe the RGB version of this case is the one that comes with the RGB ring LED fans from Thermaltake.
Okay.
But yeah, so the thing I like about this is you got that nice vertical mount for the GPU. So my basic idea was to have the 1080 mounted vertically right there with the 120mm radiator for it in the rear fan slot, and then the 240mm rad for the CPU in the front slot there. And I think, again, this offers nicely to the black and silver aesthetic I was going for.
Right.
And it gives you a nice view of the build from the interior.
Yeah.
So for power supply, I went with the Corsair CXM 650 watt 80 plus bronze modular power supply, all black cables, pretty standard fare for what we do on these builds. We typically bounce between Corsair and EVGA power supplies because they tend to be the best value in the market. For the monitor, oh no, I didn't look at my part picker build.
Uh-oh, what?
Right. So remember I told you earlier it went over budget?
It was 200 over. Now it's 200 over again.
Yeah, I fixed it, and now it's 200 over again. So this monitor was on sale for like $400. Let me real quickly.
Okay.
Just see if I can get to a point where, because every time I go, there's a different monitor.
Right.
That
is on sale.
So now the Dell is on sale again.
Yeah,
before
I saw
it was
that.
not. Yeah. So let me.
So we'll continue on with this Thermaltake Poseidon. If you send me that link via Discord.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know what just happened, but the build just completely changed to a build that I don't know what this is. My build just disappeared. So basically, I'm just gonna update because I put in the what the okay. Sorry, give me 1 second.
Not a problem.
So
that's a good looking keyboard. The Corsair Harpoon. Alright, so the keyboard was a Trident. The mouse is a Harpoon. You're going for very much of a pirate sort of ship theme thing.
It wasn't exactly on purpose, but yeah. So.
And not only that, but like Corsair, their logo looks like, you know, ship. Great sales. Oh my gosh.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Woo! Almost blanked
Yeah. So
out there.
that just kind of was a happy accident on that, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'll take it where I can get it. You know.
Yes.
All right, there we go. There's that one again. So I'm back to the original monitor that I had. Let me just save this, and then you
Okay.
should be able to refresh. And if you refresh now, you should see the Dell S2716DG 27-inch 1440p
There it is.
144 hertz monitor with G-Sync enabled for $450, which
Pretty
this
good.
is, yeah, really good deal. I think for a G-Sync 144 hertz 1440p monitor is an amazing deal. So that's kind of the centerpiece of our challenge here.
Right.
Again, you mentioned already the Thermaltake Poseidon, mechanical keyboard.
Just getting to your Corsair Void 0.1 headset.
Yeah. So real quick on the keyboard, I did blue mechanical switches because I'm a big fan of those, and obviously you can switch out for whatever switches you like. The mouse is just because it was an inexpensive gaming mouse with RGB lighting, so it could be matched to the build if need be, or completely turned off.
Right.
And the headset, because it was basically a mostly black with a little bit of white headset for a reasonable price. And I like the 7.1 surround versions of the headsets. I'm a fan of those.
Yeah.
Because it does make a difference in games as far as your sound stage that you can hear. I think it does add a little something. And that's it. That's my build for just shy of, actually now it's cheaper than it was before the stream.
Yeah.
I've got about $30 left in the budget there. So 30 more bucks, you could throw an LED strip in the system for that. For probably get a little RGB strip in there if you wanted to.
So I, whoops, that is not what I want. I went ahead and I got myself an Intel i7-7700K. Paired with that is a Cooler Master Liquid Light. It's a 120 millimeter water-cooled radiator. And then I went ahead and I got myself an Asus ROG Strix Z270i. This is a mini ITX motherboard. Went ahead and threw in a Kingston M.2 solid-state drive for an operating system, a 1 terabyte Seagate Barracuda for everything else you might want. I threw in a GeForce 1080 8GB. I thought about the hybrid, but I'm like, no, I don't want to really push my case.
Right.
Because that's my problem. I overthink it, right? So, my case is a BitPhoenix Prodigy M Atomic Orange mini tower case. So, I don't know why, but this case, I'm so in love with this case. It's mwah, beautiful, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, I threw in there... Why did I throw in a 400-watt power supply? That's...
Yeah, I thought that seemed a little low for this build.
Yeah, that's not right at all. I don't really have much money to spare, so that's what it is. I'm sure I could. Oh, wow.
Two monitors. Did you mean to do that, or...?
Absolutely. No.
Yeah. Because that's what I was just thinking. If there were two, I would have matched them and done two of the Dells rather than doing...
Yeah.
So if you do that, I don't know if that Dell is another G-Sync one. I think that one is, because that's one that I looked at, but I didn't go with because I don't like 24-inch at 1440p. I think that's too small for that resolution. For me personally, my eyes are not very good. So I like a 27 with 1440p, but I almost was this close to going with the same monitor.
Right. All right. So forget that thing, and when I said a 400-watt EVGA PCU, what I really meant was a 650-watt EVGA Supernova PSU. Yeah, that's what I meant. It comes with this Acer Predator. This is, I think, No, this was not what you had. So, but I mean, how can you go wrong with the Predator? And I kind of went with a red, orange, and black theme.
Right.
So, and then for a keyboard, I went with Corsair. Same with the mouse and same with the headphones, which is kind of weird because I kind of favor Razer. No, not gonna lie or BS it. I've always had Razer. I've never had a bad experience with Razer, so for me, I don't really mix it up too much. But I
Right.
should. I really should. I should go out and try new things. So I got this Corsair keyboard. I believe it's the K63. Yep, K63. I
Yep.
went ahead and got myself the M65 Pro RGB. So Paul has been saying a lot of good stuff about this, and then one of my buddies just got done getting that mouse. So, and then I topped it off with a yellow headphones because I don't know why I decided to go yellow. Maybe it works with my red and orange, maybe it doesn't, but that's what I went with.
I think it's funny that's Corsair Void headset again, though.
Yes, it is, but in yellow, yeah.
Right, yeah, the special edition, yeah.
So we both went with the same headset
Yep.
for the most part.
Yeah.
That leaves me
Functionally.
actually a good $340 under.
Oh, you took the extra monitor off, right?
I took the extra monitor off.
Yeah, I'm looking at the old version of the
Yeah.
list. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you've got a pretty hefty budget surplus there, buddy.
Yeah. You know what you go do with this? You go out and you go to Steam while the summer sale's going on. You buy yourself a bunch of games
it
so you
all
can
on
play.
Steam.
Yeah. This way you can play games with G-Sync enabled.
If you play your cards right, you could actually, buy probably close to 100 games for that.
Yeah. No joke. Actually, if I really wanted to, I could probably knock out that 1080 and put two 1070s in there.
I would go to doing a 1080 Ti before I would do two 1070s, especially right now with the state of pricing on 1070s.
That is true.
They are inflated due to cryptocurrency mining.
Oh, there were no 1070s available to fit in here when I was looking. So I'm like, I guess I got to go with the 1080. And then I realized I had so much money left over. I'm like, I guess I would have gone 1080 anyways.
Yeah.
So.
In fact, you could do. I mean, you could pretty easily in that budget fit the. I attribute this almost entirely to the fact that you've managed to save a lot of money on your motherboard and the storage setup versus what I did. I went aesthetic heavy on mine, so I paid a lot more money than I should have for a sofa motherboard.
Right.
Because my motherboard is like $260, and I spent probably an extra $100 on storage, stuff like that, and memory too. I spent a lot on memory because I went to 32 gigs because I wanted to fill out the DIMM slots on it. So I spent almost $300 on memory. But I was tired of doing 2x8 gig kits on everything. I want to do something different. But you could probably fit a 1070, and I believe there may be a 4K G-Sync monitor that you could squeeze into that budget, because that would still leave you with like $150 left over.
Yeah. Well, so I'm gonna leave it as is since that's how I presented.
I'm just speaking. Yeah, no, I'm just speaking theoretically for anybody watching.
If you have $2,500,
I say that happens to have $2,500 to throw around, because I mean that would give you what, $550 in the budget for the monitor. Then if you upgraded to 1080 Ti and then changed out the monitor. So I'm just curious. I'm looking at the list now.
Yeah.
So change it to 4K G-Sync. And what is the... Yeah, no, the cheapest 4K G-Sync is $840, so...
Gotcha.
And it's a 27-inch, which is too small for 4K. Absolute minimum, I would say, is 32 for a 4K. And that's an Acer at almost $1,300. So...
Gotcha.
That's like half the budget of the build.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think I think both got a couple of really nice builds here that fit the bill pretty well of doing a G-Sync capable gaming experience.
Oh, my cat.
So the only question mark now, Bear.
Yeah.
Because I usually do this ahead of time, and I did not because I couldn't think of a good challenge. So I'm going to throw it to you and see, what do you think we should do for next week's challenge?
Oh, about that.
Oh, and did you post the straw poll for this
I did.
week's?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So yeah, go ahead, guys. If you're ready, go down there and vote for whose build you like the best. And again,
For
we'll
G-Sync. For G-Sync.
And again, we will announce the winner on next week's stream when we host it back on my channel.
Yep. Right now, I think you're 2 up on me, aren't you?
Honestly, I haven't been keeping track. I'd have to go back through and look through all the, because I've been attaching these all to my Strawpoll account, so I can go back through later and, and check everything out at a later date.
Right.
So.
So with only 6 minutes to spare, I am doing a 128 sub giveaway. So if you haven't checked it out already, there is a video on my channel called 128 sub giveaway. I hope you figure out that that's what it is. And in that video is all the information and details that you will need in order to enter the giveaway, in order to win this case, not that one back there, but this one right here, this Roswell SCM 01. It's really bad lighting, but that is the case that is being given away in my giveaway.
And I will throw that in the chat. Oh, stop the stream. There we go. Okay. There we go. There's the link to the video.
Okay.
So you guys can check that out. And yeah, so the only thing missing now is the challenge. What are we gonna do for next week's challenge?
Geez, next week's challenge. We've done a lot of these now.
Yeah.
It's we've done a mini ITX monster, right?
Did we do? I know we did a mini ITX. I think it was like a $750 budget. I don't think we did a monster build on a mini ITX.
Let's see.
Let's do something. Let's do a budget we've never done before. And I'm thinking high.
Yeah, I want to say let's do like a ridiculous budget, but let's shove it into a mini ITX or something like that.
So let's do this. You know, not to steal your thunder.
No.
But I'm thinking, let's just do an $5,000 budget. We'll do $5,000 mini ITX, PC build. Same thing we did in this one, where it's a full setup. So the PC build, monitor, keyboard, mouse, mic, and headset. They can be a combo, they can be separate, whatever. But $5,000 for the full setup. Only restriction is mini ITX, and it has to be the PC, the monitor, the keyboard, the mouse, and a headset mic for gaming. Yeah, I don't think we'll define any use cases for it, but just really for $5,000, you should be able to build something that's for any use case. But
yeah, absolutely. If you can't build a PC, if you build a PC for $5K and it can't do something, you're doing something very wrong.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. All right, a $5,000 mini ITX monster.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
So, this should be a fun one. Yeah, we've then maybe after this we'll go back to some budget builds for a little while for the next couple weeks, just because we haven't really done one in a while. Most of them have been like, and by I mean technically anything is budget. I mean 5,000 is budget because that's our budget. But like low priced, you know, we'll probably go for more value per dollar builds for the next couple, just to change it up a little bit. But I think doing a monster budget would be kind of a fun one.
Right.
So yeah, actually, I'm gonna add one more thing in.
Okay.
And I gotta find it real quick. So in my last video, I managed to get on my capture card my my normal camera that I do for my videos. So I was doing a tutorial, a How To Tuesday video, in which I generally end up capturing my screen and then using my webcam. Because I can't ever get the audio on my shotgun mic to work right on my PC. I finally got my shotgun mic and my my actual camera through the capture card to come through properly, and sync together, and the audio not to be stupid in OBS. So I got really good audio on that, and I'm really happy with the way that turned out. But I added in the comments section of that video a straw poll asking for the audience's opinion on How To Tuesday videos, if I should add background music to some of the videos. So, and I want to clarify that. So a lot of times when I see background music done, it's overdone. Most times whenever I'm watching a video and by smaller YouTubers, not by like a Paul or a Kyle or something like that, but they tend to overdo the volume on their background music, and so it gets to the point where it's hard to even like follow them or understand what they're saying. So if I did do background music, it would definitely be very subtle. It would be much lower than my volume. I would make sure that I am clear throughout the video. So I don't want to give that misconception or anything. But I want to add the link to the video in the chat, and then in the pinned comment is the straw poll.
Okay.
So that way you can kind of get a feel for the audio and get a feel for what it's like whenever I'm doing those videos, and then kind of maybe provide a little bit of feedback on whether I should add background music to kind of not necessarily spice it up, but just to help it maybe flow a little better, I guess.
Okay.
Especially because a How To Tuesday video, I would say would probably average 15 minutes in length. Some of them, I think my longest one is like over 30 minutes. I don't remember, maybe 45 minutes for my longest one, because sometimes you just need that time to fully explain something.
Right.
So, but that's it. I just added that to chat. So if anybody wants to help me out there and just do the poll and just let me know what you think, and I would appreciate that. I also have, hopefully I'll post it tomorrow or Saturday. I got back into, or I'm starting to get back into my Gundam models, Gunpla, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
So I haven't done one of these in 15 years. I just did this one last week. It was $10 on Amazon, and it's actually a pretty nice model of the RX-78-2 Gundam. So I'll probably end up doing some more of these, but I went ahead and recorded the process of putting it together. It took me about 2 hours to put it all together.
Wow.
And I'm gonna go ahead and post. I'll probably post a video of this, just with it's obviously time lapsed. So the 2 hours goes by in a couple of minutes. But just for the heck of it, just for fun. And if any of my audience happens to be Gundam fans, Gundam is definitely one of my weaknesses. I am a huge Gundam fan. Yeah, I just completely obsessed with 0079, the original series. So, anyways, I don't want to bore people with that, because I'm sure there's not a shared interest there, at least not with the one person watching right now, which is, I guess, me. It's down to one watching on the stream, so I thought that was kind of funny.
Interesting, because I'm still watching too.
Yeah, I don't think we get counted. If you're hosting, I don't think it counts you when you're on the control panel. Yeah, I don't think it counts you.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's that. I don't think I have anything else. You have any other announcements or anything? Obviously, you got the giveaway, so you got something pretty big going on with your milestone there.
I have the giveaway, and then after this, I'm going to do my 128 sub stream, where I'm just gonna stream some gameplay, chat with you guys while I do so, and that'll be that. So, in fact, right now I got a buddy who is currently waiting for me to switch over from our show into the game so that he and I can get rolling. So, yeah. So if you guys stick around, this stream will go down for probably about 5 minutes. I'll probably, grab a drink or do something real quick, and then hop right back on, and we'll do some PUBG live streaming tonight. So
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So And Bear, we've kind of talked about this. Just last thing I was thinking about before the stream, and I don't think I'm going to straw poll on it because I don't know that I'll get any responses. But I've still conflicted on how I want to do. So we've talked before, and some of my audience knows that I've been planning another giveaway for a while.
All right.
But I'm very conflicted on what my milestone should be. I was thinking 150 for a while. Thanks to your help, I kind of blew through 150. The only other milestone, because I'm not doing base 2 numbers.
Right.
So from the last giveaway I did a 50, a 100. I feel like the next natural progression would be 250, but I also feel like that's a fair ways away, and I do appreciate the audience that I do have. So I don't know.
Well,
I've debated greatly on doing the 150 giveaway.
right.
I also don't want to run out of things to give away too quickly. So.
See, I don't know. You could do 250 or you could do 200.
Yeah. What I may do. So my next giveaway I've been wanting to do is my Pi Zero setup. So this is a RetroPie setup, wireless dongle on it, and got the HDMI adapter and everything, and a USB hat. So you get 4 USB ports on it, full size Type A. And my plan had been to do a custom printed case for it. Possibly a SNES case is kind of where I'm leaning towards, and basically making kind of a SNES. Which, by the way, they actually officially announced the SNES Classic from Nintendo coming out. So now I feel less special. But yeah, so I don't know. Maybe I'll do an intermediary, a smaller item for my 150, and then I'll save this for 250.
Gotcha.
So we'll see. I'll have to find something interesting to give away though. Something that'll be of value to my audience. All right, I won't keep you anymore. I know you got someone waiting on you. I know my wife's waiting on me, so we can go to bed. So, guys, thanks for showing up and hanging out with us. Thanks to anybody who's watching the rebroadcast, and we'll see you next week.
All right. You guys have a wonderful night, and for anyone who sticks around, see you in just a couple minutes. All right. Good night, guys.
Good night.